Just 10 days after a massive comeback win, boxing superstar Anthony Joshua found himself in a completely different kind of fight. Not in a ring, but on a highway in his ancestral homeland of Nigeria. Today, we're breaking down the absolutely shocking news of a fatal crash that has put his entire career, and really, his future, into question. All right, let's get right into it.
To really understand how serious this was, you have to start right here, with this absolutely harrowing account from an eyewitness on the scene. I mean, this quote, it just cuts right to the bone-chilling reality of it all. Two people traveling in the very same car as Joshua died instantly. So let's set the scene, right? The date is December 29th, 2025. Anthony Joshua is riding high. He's fresh off a huge knockout victory over Jake Paul, and he's in Nigeria for what's supposed to be a victory lap, a celebratory holiday trip. You know, this trip was meant to be his chance to reconnect with his roots, to relax, to just soak in a massive win that put his career right back on track. But instead, on the incredibly busy Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, that celebration turned into an absolute catastrophe.
But how? How does something like this even happen? Let's try to reconstruct a chain of events from that Monday morning using the details that we have from eyewitnesses and, of course, the local authorities.
So the first question in any crash like this is always the same, right? What was the trigger? What went wrong? You've got a high-speed convoy, you've got security. What could possibly cause things to go so bad so fast?
Well, the answer, according to the police reports, was a sudden, catastrophic mechanical failure, a tire burst. That's pretty much one of the most terrifying things that can happen to you when you're flying down a highway. It makes the vehicle instantly unstable and almost impossible to control.
And this timeline just shows you how fast, how terrifyingly fast this all happened. At 11 a.m., the tire blows. Within a single minute, just 60 seconds, the SUV loses control and slams into a parked truck. By 11:03, regular people, bystanders, are already jumping in trying to help. And just 7 minutes after that, official rescue crews are on site. It's an unbelievably quick sequence of events.
This seating chart, wow, it really tells a tragic story all on its own. Joshua was sitting in the back, right behind the driver, and that position very likely saved his life. The two people who died were the passenger up front and the person sitting right next to Joshua in the back seat. It's just a stark, awful reminder of how in a car crash, a few inches can be the difference between life and death.
So beyond all the celebrity headlines and the news alerts, the real heart of this story is, of course, a human tragedy.
Just two. Two people who were in that car with Anthony Joshua that morning never made it home. Two families were shattered forever. That's the stark, unavoidable number at the very center of this whole incident.
And the severity of that loss was immediately recognized by the local authorities. This official statement from the police really underscores the gravity of the situation, while also, paying respect to the victims.
Okay. So to really understand how a simple tire burst could lead to such a horrifying disaster, we have to talk about the environment. This didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened on one of Nigeria's most notoriously dangerous highways.
And this right here is the crucial piece of the puzzle, the stationary truck phenomenon. See, this isn't just about a random truck parked on the side of the road. It's a well-known, constant danger there. These massive trucks, often broken down or parked illegally without any warning markers, they create these deadly, immovable obstacles. So the Lexus SUV didn't just crash, it basically hit a solid wall. This points to a much bigger, systemic issue.
And that's just one piece of it. We're talking about a road with a huge volume of traffic, not enough lighting, and almost no real safety shoulder for a car to recover if something goes wrong. But look at that last point, high ambient temperatures. In a really hot climate, tire pressure naturally goes up, which makes a catastrophic blowout, like the one that started this whole thing, way more likely. It was the perfect storm for a tragedy like this. So, after surviving an ordeal like this, what does it all mean for Anthony Joshua, the fighter? The guy who is just getting his career back into high gear.
I mean, this comparison makes the contrast just painfully clear. Before the crash, he's on top of the world. A massive comeback win, huge TV numbers. He's even publicly calling out his biggest rival, Tyson Fury. His career was absolutely surging. And after the crash, he's in the hospital. He's facing not just a physical recovery, but a deep psychological one. All of his plans for 2026 are suddenly up in the air. A professional hiatus is pretty much a given.
And this was the immediate, cautious reaction from his promoter, Hearn.
You can just feel the shock and the total uncertainty in his words. Of course, his first concern is for AJ's well-being, but the subtext is pretty clear. Nobody has any idea what the future holds right now.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? This is so much bigger than boxing. Surviving a crash that killed 2 people sitting right beside you, that is a life-altering, soul-shaking experience. It forces us to ask, how does a champion come back from something like this? Will it fuel him in some way, or will it fundamentally change the man who steps back into that ring? The final chapter of Anthony Joshua's career has just been violently rewritten, and truly, no one knows how it's going to end.